I'm Stan Hayes.
And I'm Will Cleaver.
And we're the co-founders of Operation BBQ Relief.
And welcome to the 2025 Volunteer of the Year Awards.
Hi, I'm Brian Maraska. The 2025 Cucumber Award goes to a new volunteer who made a big impression in their very first year with Operation BBQ Relief. The finalists this year are Bailey James, Gracie Kearns, and Teresa Schrekta. This person did not come to OBR the way most volunteers do. She came to us as someone who needed us. She attended a TAPS camp at Camp OBR as a Gold Star family member. And then something shifted. She decided to give back. In her very first year as a volunteer, she deployed, worked at several events with the Always Serving Project, shared her story on a podcast, and filmed a testimonial that has brought new people into our mission. This year's Cucumber Award is Teresa Schrekta.
Hi, I'm Johnny I. The 2025 Road Warrior Award goes to a volunteer who has not let travel, distance, or time keep them from showing up again and again for deployments, events, or whatever they're needed the most. The finalists for this year are Steve Anderson, Mandy McCain, and Rich Waxman. This person logged more hours for OBR than most people do in a single year. They showed up for disaster deployments, blue sky events across 5 states, volunteer training, warehouse operations, and Camp OBR. And here's the part that stopped all of us when we read their nomination. They manage a vision-related condition that limits travel at daylight hours only and fair weather driving. And still they found a way to show up every single time. They also bring homemade Sicilian cheesecake to deployments, which quite honestly might be the best part of it all. This year's winner, Richard Waxman.
Hi, I'm Stan Hayes, and today I'm presenting the Grassroots Award. The 2025 Grassroots Award goes to the volunteer who gives back beyond deployments, using their barbecue skills, telling the OBR story, and spreading the mission wherever they go. The finalists are Steve Carney, Randall Knight, and Zane Malone. This person understood something a long time ago that took many of us a while to figure out. You don't cook, you connect. He volunteers with OBR, but he also volunteers with Holy Smokers. He cooks to feed food insecure community members. He reaches out to underserved kids. He makes sure every single person who sits at the table feels seen. He carries the mission with him everywhere he goes, and that's Grassroots. This year's winner is Steve Carney.
The 2025 Heart Award goes to a volunteer who embodies an extraordinary spirit of giving, someone who is all in. Deployments, camp, and the Always Serving Project. The behind-the-scenes work that no one sees. They not just volunteer, they live the mission every day. The finalists, Alan Jones, Lori Lewis, and Emlyn Thomas. This person does not know how to do anything halfway. When our Jamaican deployment happened, they galvanized volunteers for an unusual offshore operation. They run the Always Serving projects throughout Southwest Florida, and they keep the Pinellas Park warehouse in top shape. When Hurricane Melissa hit, they single-handedly rallied at multiple local civil groups to make the deployment a success. And they did that all while recently stepping into an area coordinator role. This person does not stop, and we are so glad. The winner is Alan Jones.
Hi, I'm Johnny I. The 2025 Leadership Award goes to a volunteer who inspires others through trust, integrity, and action. The finalists for this year are Jerry Hinkton, Scott Jarrett, and Emlyn Thomas. When the California wildfires broke out, this person was one of the first OBR boots on the ground. When flooding hit Globe, Arizona, he led the first ever disaster deployment in the state of Arizona for Operation Barbecue Relief. He built a brand new Veterans Day event with Farmers Insurance from the ground up. He was named chairman of the Arizona VOAD. And all of this while stepping into the regional director role for the entire Western United States. He didn't wait to be ready, he just led. And the winner is Jerry Hinkton.
Hi, I'm Brian Maraska. The 2025 Motivational Award goes to a volunteer who lifts up everyone around them through positivity, energy, and encouragement. This year's finalist is Matt Lane, Colin Monk, and Lewis Pratt. All right. Think about the hardest moment of a deployment. Early mornings, late nights, loading and unloading for the 4th hour in a row. Exhaustion is setting in. Now picture one person who, in the exact moment, never responds negatively. Not once, not ever. He offers encouragement, a different perspective, a calm that steadies the whole team around him. His nominations came from people at multiple deployments across the country, describing how he positively impacted their experience. This year's winner is Lewis Pratt.
The 2025 Behind the Heart Award goes to a volunteer who works behind the scenes to keep OBR running, planning events, managing logistics, supporting volunteers, often without recognition, but always with heart. The finalists this year are Rick Ball, Jason Duncan, and Bailey James. Every single night, after a full day of teaching and working toward their master's degree, they log on and monitor our social media channels. When they originally joined our team, they stepped in without missing a beat. They answer every comment with professionalism and genuine care, and they alert us at the moment anything needs our attention. They do this because they lived through the California wildfires. They know what OBR means to the people in crisis, and they show up for them every single night because of that. I am proud to call them a colleague, and I am even prouder to present this award to Bailey James.
We saved this one for the last.
The Rod Kramer Volunteer of the Year Award.
Rod Kramer was one of the earliest and most beloved volunteers in OBR's history. He brought joy and integrity to every single event.
Made people feel seen, valued, and supported. Every person, every time. That is the standard that this award is named after.
And the finalists are
Cheryl Bailey,
Gene Boldman,
Steve Carney,
Chris Creech,
and Larry Mush. This person worked 16-hour days for 2.5 weeks straight at Camp OBR.
They smiled every day.
They were the first ones up and the last ones to bed. They are the linchpin in the kitchen. They're the reason families feel welcome when they walk through our doors.
They've been deployed to Florida, Illinois, Ohio, Tennessee, North Carolina. They showed up for the Always Serving Project events and the camp. When staff cannot go, they are the ones that they call.
They never want to be in the spotlight. They just want to be the spotlight to work.
That is Rod's standard, and this person meets it every single time.
And the winner is
Gene Boldman.
26 finalists.
8 awards, 8 people.
8 reasons why Operation Barbecue Relief is still standing, still cooking, and still showing up.
We say this every year. We mean it more every time we say it.
We could not do any of it without the volunteers.
Not the deployments, not the camps, not the Always Serving Project events, none of it.
So to Teresa, Rich, Steve, Alan, Jerry, Lewis, Bailey, and Jean.
Thank you does not feel like enough.
But we're going to say it anyways.
Thank you.
And if you're watching this and not already a volunteer,
go to obr.org and register. Next year, this skillet could be yours.